you say no, because then I actually can, if you say yes, then I'm going to go and have nothing to talk about. So my name is Pauline Gabi. I'm a strategic partner manager at YouTube. Basically what that means is my job is to understand the platform, understand creators specifically in sub-Saharan Africa, and figure out how best I can support you to make the most of YouTube, whether it's getting the most from analytics or making more money. So today's focus is purely on the algorithm, right? So you make a video today, you know the distribution strategy, you know what you've edited, you know the storyline, right? And you post it. Say we all post a video right now. How do you know how your video is going to perform? Can you predict it? I can tell you I can't predict it, and I work at YouTube. What influences that is this whole thing that people call the algorithm. So let's find out how it works. Let's find out how YouTube recommends videos, as well as what is in your control, what the audience is up to, and then of course the other factors that also influence performance that we can't really influence, but that we can study and then adjust accordingly. Two main goals of the algorithm. Very simple, easy to remember, right? We want to make sure that our search and discovery system is able to surface the right videos for the right viewer, and to make sure that when that viewer watches the video, they are satisfied, right? So to Danila's point, educate and entertain. Whatever your option is, whether it's both or just the one, are you actually doing that? Then the big question for the team that works on the algorithm is, how do we measure that, right? What can we look at to really know how things are doing? So you find that there's 4 R's that we look at. The algorithm is looking to remove, raise, reduce, or reward, right? So we want to make sure that on the platform, we remove content that violates our community guidelines. Of course, if the content doesn't do that, we want to raise up the authoritative voices, fantastic stories, the engaging content, and then also reduce things that are kind of borderline, right? So if it makes sense for the story, but you know you're going to have that yellow icon, we want to make sure that you're still able to have that story told, and it might just be reduced. Then of course reward, right? So creators like yourselves that make engaging content that meets the guidelines, is of a high standard, which we'll say in quotation marks, because it just depends on how you tell the story, how you make the most with the tools you have. And so that type of content would then be rewarded. So with this in mind, what can you do? What's on you? Understanding the community guidelines becomes the big one. And then playing within that to see, okay, if I understand the community guidelines and I want to monetize, am I also looking at the advertiser-friendly guidelines? And so it's pretty simple. As we look at how we've grown and changed over the years, so a couple of years ago, if I can make it to the next slide, you'll see here that we started off in 2011 looking at clicks and views. I don't know if you remember back in the day, creators would be online talking about, I got this many views and that's how I know that I'm really successful. And what we found at that time was it's difficult to tell the difference with someone clicking because they thought, oh my word, this thumbnail looks so legit. You know how they say clickbait? Like I can put a thumbnail that says, click here to find out how you can make millions on YouTube. And you click on the video and it's just me and my mom having tea. Not talking about much, right? So we're like, okay, maybe clicks aren't the right thing to measure because sometimes people even click by accident. You start a video, you watch the first few seconds, you're like, nah, not quite it. And so we moved on from there to think about watch time, right? To say, okay, if Claudia clicks on the video and she doesn't leave, she sticks around for like a couple of minutes and we look at the watch time, maybe that's how we know that a video is good. Maybe the algorithm should be looking at that. And of course the algorithm's always learning, we're always trying to do better. And so we also found out then that not all watch time is created equal, right? And so, I don't know if that was me, I can go back. So not all watch time is created equal. For example, my mom might watch something, right? If she watches a piece of content, I can hear her laughing in the other room. I'm like, okay, that's probably good. The amount of time she sat there, she's enjoying it. Sometimes she'll watch something on her phone, and then she'll be like, come and see your friends. That's probably not a video that she's super keen on, although she'll still share it with me. And so these are all the metrics that we'll sort of look at. So as we move on and we think about, cool, we know that watch time is something we look at. Not all watch time is equal. How do we then start measuring satisfaction? How do we know that the person watching this video is actually enjoying it? So there are different ways that we look at. We look at how long someone watches, we also run surveys. So I don't know if you've seen this. It doesn't happen after every single video, but every now and then you'll get a survey to say, okay, the video you just watched, how would you rate it? Good, bad, average? All of that information is used. So we'll take that data, we'll use it to train our prediction models, so they can be a lot more successful when you release a video to be like, okay, based on what I know about this viewer, they might be satisfied and actually enjoy watching this video. Although at this stage we aren't able to share the results of these surveys, the hope is as we grow and build, we'll be able to include a lot more of this in your analytics. So that's just one way. Another way that we try and look and measure if someone's enjoyed or is satisfied with the content is to take a look at other signals, right? Likes, dislikes, shares. If you're on your homepage and you see a thumbnail, on the top right-hand side, there's usually these 3 little dots. When you click on those dots, you can say, I'm not interested. Now that's a big sign, right? Because you're presented with all these thumbnails, you can just scroll and choose not to click on my video. But to do the extra step of clicking those 3 dots and be like, YouTube, please, too much. Not interested. All of those signals are taken into consideration. And so we're looking at satisfaction. Of course, we want to make sure that it's not just about watch time, but it's about thinking about how valuable is the watch time that someone is actually engaging in, right? These satisfaction metrics. And in the long term, we're focused on the viewer. So you might release like 12 videos and you find out one video does better than the other, and you're like, is it my channel? Is it me? And it's like, no, it's the viewer. How are they engaging? What are they watching? And can our prediction models make the right prediction and surface the relative content? Some of the other metrics that we look at when it comes to the algorithm are, there's so many, but here's some of the ones I want to highlight, right? It's like, remember, we focused on the viewer. What are they watching? What are they not watching? When they click on something and they choose to watch it, how long are they watching it for? Are they liking it? Are they sharing it? So you'll hear a lot from like YouTubers are like, oh, please like, comment, subscribe, all these things. Those are all pieces of information that the algorithm is taking in order to better predict what video it shows next. So you'll see here that when you're on your homepage, this is the things that you'll be able to see in your traffic sources, right? So homepage, you open up YouTube. When you see recommended, all of that is tailored to you. We can all open YouTube all at the same time, right this second. We're not going to see the same videos as an option, right? Because the algorithm is focused on you, and what I see will be different to what you see, will be different to what the lady sitting next to you sees, based on that. And it's the same information that we use when we're looking at suggested videos. Those are then recommended alongside a video, right? So the algorithm is thinking, okay, Potter, if you're watching this, you might also enjoy another video. And keep it in mind that we're also trying to predict and share with you new content, right? So you might have started a channel and you're like, oh my word, Potter, nobody knows me. Nobody even knows my channel exists, right? The algorithm is still learning. And so what it's thinking is, okay, the type of content you made, from what I know about, maybe it's me that's watching, so what I know about Potter, this is something that she might also enjoy watching. So it's not just about showing you what you've already seen, it's also about introducing you to new content, right? And so you might be creating content and thinking, okay, I'm trying something new. Will the audience find this based on how they engage? Absolutely, and the algorithm can then support that, right? But this is just one part of how videos are discovered, right? So I can make one video, and you might find it because it's on your homepage. Someone else here might be watching it because someone shared the link with them. Someone else might be watching it because they literally searched, when was the last, like, Twala's latest video, right? So you'll find that when you look at your traffic sources, one video can have multiple ways that it's found. And it really depends on the type of video as well. So what we see historically is that when you have a video that's a how-to, usually, and mind you, I should also say, these are just examples, I just made up the numbers just to illustrate, but usually we see with how-to videos, a lot of times people are finding it with search, right? You're not gonna open up your YouTube right now and you're like, oh yeah, I've seen a how-to video, how to construct an entire setup. You'd usually be looking to solve the thing, right? I want to construct something today, and so search usually leads. And then for other topics, it's different. I'm gonna move on a little bit quicker here, but the main thing to remember is that the recommendation system is looking to find the right video for the viewer. It's not taking your video and going, let me bring viewers here. It's saying, from what I know about the viewers that are here right now, what would be the best video to pull in and to surface to them? And so some of the other things to look at is personalization, which we just discussed, right? It's catered towards the viewer, what they like, what they don't like, how they're engaging. Performance, are people sticking around on your video for a long time? Are they liking? Are they subscribing? That's all featured in satisfaction and engagement. And then we also look at external factors. Now that's the bit where we can't control that, but we can try and figure out how best to predict it. So this we discuss personalization, right? We're looking at what is the audience's interest, what videos are they watching, are they channels that they go to often, and then how can we surface more of that type of content. Then when we move on and we start looking, this is just an example of how viewers' interests change as well, right? So if you think about yourself 10 years ago, the things you were watching, the TV shows, the celebrities that you followed where you were like, I know everything about this person. Right now, completely different. And so this is just an example of gaming trends that we saw, where at some stage Minecraft, which you can see in the red, from a search perspective, so many people were searching and people were making videos about that game, oh my word, doing so well. The interest of the viewers then shifted to a different game. And so now, even if you were making Minecraft, you can see the red goes down and the blue goes much higher. It's like, okay, they've just shifted their interest to Fortnite. All of these tools you're able to have. So in Studio, you can go in on your back end and see specifically underneath the research tab what your viewers are up to. And these are some of the things you want to think about as well. When it comes to performance, as we mentioned before, how's the video doing? What can we gauge from the viewers based on how they're engaging, liking, sharing? And then the last one here is the external factors, right? So if you think about topics of interest, we had AFCON come out. Imagine throughout the whole year, if you think of how many people are on the internet searching for AFCON. Usually when the event's happening, it sort of spikes. And then when the event's not happening, it goes down a little bit. So those are things that you can't influence, but you can definitely learn about to try and better predict where the audience's seasonal interest might be. Then competition. First time I looked at this, I was like, oh, competition, like the Olympics and that kind of stuff. It's like, no. Competition in that, if I am, imagine in this unique universe, I'm the only person that does videos and tells African stories. No one's competing with me. If you search for anything about African stories, you'll just see me. Okay, then there's no competition. Chances are I might get more engagement. I'm the only one serving that type of audience. Now imagine everyone in this room is also posting African stories. Now, when a viewer goes on, it's asking, okay, of all the videos that are here right now, what makes the most sense to surface to this one viewer? And so when you're looking at your analytics and you see things ebb and flow, or you see, okay, Connor, this video is the same series. I posted it last week, episode 1, did so well. Posted this week, episode 2, not so well. What's going on? These are some of the external factors that influence that. It might just be that there's a lot more competition from a video perspective as in other people making content, and it's got nothing to do with your content, right? It's the external factor. Then the last one being seasonality. This one is easy to understand. If you think of December time or when people are either on school holidays or on breaks, that will also impact how they consume and when they consume, as well as how much time, right? If it's December, for me, I take it slow, so I'll be consuming more. For a lot of people, they're home, they're with family, they're traveling, they're out and about. You think they're gonna sit for 12 hours like they usually do? Maybe not. And so you wanna think about that. And when you're looking at your analytics on the back end, it helps to zoom out. On the top right-hand side of your screen, you'll be able to see a thing that talks about, are you looking at 28 days? Are you looking at 90 days? Zoom out, look at 365 days. Then you'll be able to see, okay, for my audience, this is how things ebb and flow. Another thing that you can see on your analytics is, this is literally screenshots, right? So you've got the live report of when people are live. Have you seen this before? Show of hands. I'm hoping it's like, okay, it's familiar. I love that. So the purple, when it's really dark purple, it means a lot of your audience are live. They actually have YouTube open at that time. And so when it comes to scheduling a premiere, right? So you set up with them, you've got a new video, you're premiering it, we're doing like a live watch party, or if you want to go live, this is a fantastic graph to help you with that, right? It's like you want to premiere just before you know a lot of people will be on. And then another thing that you can see in your analytics is other things your audience is interested in. So remember I was talking about audience interest, how the algorithm's looking at that and making decisions. You can see that on your back end as well to say, okay, for my audience, here's some of the other videos that they really enjoy. So just to wrap up here, algorithm, as we know, follows the audience. So if you wanted to understand what to create, how to tweak things, go to your analytics, click underneath audience, you'll find everything. You'll even find which geographies they're staying in, how old they are, what they're interested in, so that you can make the necessary adjustments if you want to. Then of course, on our side, we're focused on long-term satisfaction. So make sure that you keep that in mind. And keep experimenting. The same way that viewers' interests are changing, storylines might evolve. You might get better at editing, you might get better at something else. Make sure you keep experimenting. And then lastly, expect fluctuations. It's not a science, it's human beings that you're dealing with at the end of the day. So how they choose to engage and how that then impacts the recommendation system will change as we go. That's it for me for now. I'll hand over to Nina. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Ladies and gentlemen. You can